Hello and good day. I would like to say thank you for the invitation. It is a great honor to me to talk to you about nutrition this day. So, my name is Claudia Englisch and I'm a dietitian here in Austria. Please be lenient. My last name is English, but my English isn't very well. The diagnosis of pulmonary hypertension represents a changed life situation for many of those affected. Complaints such as loss of appetite, weight loss, flatulence, or diarrhea can also occur. Many patients ask themselves what they can or what they should eat. Today, I will inform you what you can do when you suffer from nutritional problems and what a balanced diet means. Furthermore, I want to tell you a little bit of microbiome and the effect of prebiotics. I'm asked very often if there exists a special diet for patients with lung hypertension. And the answer is no. There is no special food who can eliminate this disease. But you can do a lot by yourself with nutrition and improve your digestive problems. The following recommendations apply basically: a predominantly vegetarian and plant-based diet ensures an adequate supply of anti-inflammatory substances. The more colorful and varied the choice of food, the better. In addition, exercise and relaxation, as well as targeted stress reduction, play a major role in avoiding inflammatory processes in the body. Sufficient sleep and the balance between tension and rest are also important. On this slide, you can see how an anti-inflammatory meal plan could work. So try to eat plenty of vegetables and lots of fresh food. Cook vegetables gently, like stew or steam. Enjoy fresh and seasonal fruits. Prefer whole grain products and consume legumes, nuts, and oilseeds. Prefer cold-pressed native vegetable oils like walnut, linseed, or rapeseed oil. And try to drink enough. For example, mineral water, unsweetened herbal or fruit tea, or diluted vegetable and fruit juices. Try to avoid large amounts of alcohol and reduce animal foods, and especially try to reduce the fat intake because of the arachidone fatty acids. Try to prefer instead omega-3 fatty acids. Try to eat enough magnesium and potassium. If you suffer from pulmonary hypertension, you should ensure you're getting enough magnesium. The intake of potassium and magnesium can often be combined. For example, nuts and whole grains are high in both minerals. Other foods that provide a lot of magnesium are, for example, cacao butter, soy products, lentils, dried fruits, or nuts. The nuts with the highest magnesium content are cashews, followed by almonds or peanuts. The needs per day from magnesium is 300 up to 400 milligrams a day. You also can find magnesium in poultry, fish, potatoes, berries, bananas, and a good source is pumpkin or sunflower seed. So 1 tablespoon contains 50 milligram magnesium. That's a lot. You can use these seeds, for example, in a yogurt or for salads. The symptoms of pulmonary hypertension are varied. A balanced and symptom-adapted diet is particularly important here. Because of the symptoms, for example, the lean tiredness or the dizziness, sometimes the nutrition is neglected. Supported self-help nutrition in heart failure. So what is important? Try to eat a balanced diet. Fruit, vegetables, and salad may be part of every meal. The potassium it contains promotes the natural dehydration. Unsalted potatoes and also unsalted rice also have a dehydrating effect. Instead of meat, try to plan 1 or 2 fish meals per week. And also important, use high quality vegetable oils for cooking and salads. Try to drink enough, but not too much. Drinking too much water encourages fluid retention. As a rule, the recommendation is around 1.5 liters a day, but please discuss your individual drinking quantity with the doctor who is treating you. Also, pay attention to the salt content of the food. A total salt confidence is not required. Salt binds water in the body and can worsen heart failure symptoms. Try to keep the salt intake low by using natural foods as much as possible and limiting processed product. Don't add salt at the table. Spice up your dishes generously with spices. Some practice useful tips. When you're cooking, use salt very economical or try to replace conventional salt with herbal salt. Spice up vegetables and fish dishes with, for example, lemon pepper, garlic, chili, turmeric, or herbs. Potatoes can be seasoned with olive oil, pepper, rosemary, thyme, cumin, or parsley. Salad marinades get their own flour with mustard, lemon juice, cress, garlic, oregano, or pepper. Be creative and let your fantasy run wild. Prefer low sodium mineral waters, so please check out the salt content on the ingredient list. Another digesting problem can be the flatulence. So what can you do when having flatulence? What does it mean if we are talking about flatulence? Flatulence is the normal accumulation of gas in the intestines that can occur during the natural digestive process. 5 up to 20 winds per day are considered normal. There are a lot of foods that are flatulent. This includes, for example, legumes like beans, peas, lentils, or chickpeas. also cabbage, sprouts, sauerkraut or cauliflower, onion, garlic, radish, and also cucumber salad. Unripe fruit, especially plums and pears, and also the fruit juice from apple, pears, and plum. And all other carbonated drinks, fresh bread and pastries, and fresh yeast dough. So, tips for practice, what you can do. First at all, try to eat slowly and chew properly. Avoid eating foods that cause flatulence, for example, beans. Don't use carbon dioxide, for example, in mineral water, and please avoid sugar substitutes, or also known as sugar alcohols. They are famous as sorbit, mannit, isomalt, xylit, erythritol. In higher doses, these have a flatulence promoting effect, although this can vary greatly from substance to substance. These sugar alcohols you may find in sugar-free drops and chewing gums. Another useful tip is try to cook cabbage or sauerkraut without a pot lid. The expanding substances can escape over the water vapor. Season these dishes generously with caraway seed, fennel, aniseed, cardamom, ginger, mustard, or turmeric. And again, eat slowly and chew patiently. When you're eating and drinking, be careful not to swallow too much air. Typical medicines here in Austria are Montana house drops, Iberogast drops, or Sub-Simplex drops. You can buy them here at the pharmacy. You also can use caminatives. These are herbal remedies that have a deflating effect. For example, tea for babies containing fennel, cumin, anise, peppermint. If you prepare this tea, pour hot water over the tea mixture, let it steep for 10 up to 15 minutes, and drink after meals. Very good deflating are also artichoke preparations, relaxation exercises, and abdominal massages, for example, with peppermint oil. But please do it in a clockwise direction. This also will help. On this slide, you see the Bristol chair-shape scale. I notice in my job that many people are very fixed to their stool and their digestion. They think they have to go to the toilet every day, same time. If not, they speak about constipation. So on this picture, you can see the Bristol scale for digestion and its forms. The Bristol stool chart is a medical aid designed to classify stools into 7 groups. And every person will have different bowel habits. But the important thing is that your stools are soft and easy to pass. Like you can see here, type 3 and 4. Type 1 and 2 indicate constipation. Type 3 and 4 are ideal stools as they are easier to pass, and type 5 to 7 may indicate diarrhea and urgency. So, what does normal bowel movement means? Digestion is a biological system and not a train that comes according to schedule. Frequency in healthy people vary from 3 times a day to 3 times a week. Many patients with pulmonary hypertension here in Austria who are supplied with a pump suffer from diarrhea. So let's talk about diarrhea and what to do when you have diarrhea. The remedy for diarrhea, first at all, is to drinking enough. This is the most important thing. You should try to drink at least 1 or better 1.5 liters a day. And please prefer beverages with room temperature. Try to avoid carbonated drinks because they encourage gas and bloating. And try also to avoid drinking large amounts of water at once. It is better to drink throughout the whole day. And don't do home-style cooking when you're having diarrhea. It is bloating, greasy, and stool promoting. Also important, drink enough to prevent further water and electrolyte losses. A lot of these products you can buy here in Austria at the pharmacy. In your country, please check out if it's possible to get there. These are different kinds of electrolyte drinks, for example, Isostar, Normolyt, or HIP. In Austria, some people tell me that beer is an optimal electrolyte drink because they like it. In Austria, we drink a lot of beer. So if you use beer as electrolyte drink, please gush out the carbonate acid. Also important is to supply sufficient electrolytes also in form of salted, fat-free vegetable soups or mucus soups. Or you can use special tea preparations or orange juice with grape sugar and salt. Also possible to drink our homemade electrolyte drinks. The next 2 slides show you the possibility you can do by yourself. If you use different kind of teas, it is important to let them steam for at least 10 minutes. Always let teas steep 10 or better 15 minutes. And it's important to get grape sugar and a pinch of table salt in it. Also very valuable for use at home are mucus soups, a carrot soup or a carrot puree, switched apple, whipped bananas, blueberry fingers, Zwieback lady fingers, blueberry puree. And very famous here in Austria is Coca-Cola and pretzel sticks. But cola is only partially suitable. So if you use cola, please remove the gas before you drink it. You also can use cooking chocolate, but please prepared with water or milk, lactose-free milk, and generally use lactose-free milk products. When you're having problems with diarrhea or constipation, you also can use the effect of prebiotics. In Austria, we use, for example, Optifiber or Omnilogic fiber or other products. Prebiotics consist of 100% of soluble fibers who serve the beneficial good bacteria as nutrients. They serve to support the healthy intestinal flora in the case of constipation, diarrhea, and degraded and damaged intestinal flora. They are not swelling, so it's not necessary to drink more. And you will not get any habituation effect. Prebiotics can be taken long term without hesitation, as there is no habituation effect. The human intestinal flora consists of billions of bacteria that influence, regulate, and support our digestion. To do their job most effectful, these bacterial strains need nutrients, such as the soluble fiber from Optifiber or Omnilogic Plus, or also the fibers you can find in whole grain or in vegetables. And last but not least, I want to tell you what to do when you're losing weight. You should pay special attention to have a high calorie and protein-rich diet. Fat is suitable for adding calories and makes many dishes taste good. Try to enrich meals with fat in form of vegetable oils, margarine, butter, whipped cream, creme fraiche, lard, bacon, and so on. Fat provides the most energy. 1 tablespoon oil contains 90 calories. So in 1 liter oil, you can find 9,000 calories, and that's a lot. Some practice tips are swell side dishes like rice, noodles, potatoes, or vegetables in butter, margarine, or high-quality oils. Refine the curd cheese spread with linseed oil, butter, or sour cream. Cream soups, sausage, or desserts can be refined with whipped cream, sour cream, or creme fraiche. And milkshakes can be refined with whipped cream. They taste very, very good. And also use flour to thicken soups or sauces. Cook potatoes with vegetable cream soups. The potatoes bind the soup and also provide carbohydrates. You also can use mashed potato powder. Vegetables and fruit juices provides also extra calories. 1 glass apple juice provides 115 calories. Stand visibly with a bowl of nuts, dry fruits, nibbles, or sweets that tempts you to grab and nibble. If you cannot eat enough or have no appetite, you can try oral nutritional supplements. They are also known as astronaut fare. This is suitable for special medical purposes or also suitable for exclusive nutrition. It is a special balanced diet in form of a high-calorie drinking food with or without soluble fiber and rich in protein. This oral nutritional supplements you see on this picture, for example, I use in the hospital I'm working, but they are not reimbursed by the health insurance in Austria, and they are rather expensive. One pack costs €2 and more, but they are sometimes cheaper when buying them from the company themselves. There are also some supplements like this All-in Complete. You can buy here also in supermarkets. They are a little bit cheaper. Yeah. Eating not only serves to cover energy and nutrition requirements. Eating should also be a source of physical and mental well-being. Enjoyment also plays a very central role. So there is still a lot to tell you about nutrition, but my time today is up. You can find more recipes and useful tips for digestive problems in this brochure. Thanks for your attention. Are there any questions?
So I would like to welcome you all to this session. And it's an interesting session that has to do with nutrition. And we are very happy and fortunate to have an expert joining us from Vienna, Austria, Claudia Englisch. And I hope you have all seen her presentation. If not, you can go to the presentation room and have a look at it. And I have received a lot of questions from you, and I have forwarded the questions to Claudia, so you've had a chance to look at them first. So I think we should just, maybe you can introduce yourself before we get started.
Okay, so yeah, hi, my name is Claudia Englisch. I'm a dietitian here in Austria, and yeah, I'm looking forward to answer your questions. Those are a lot of questions.
Yes, they are.
Yeah.
Well, let's get started. I had a question in the beginning. Would you say that there is a difference in the advice you give to a healthy person and a PH patient? And if yes, what is the biggest difference?
Strictly speaking, a balanced and healthy diet is recommended. There is no difference between the advice I would give to my clients. It always depends on the symptoms. So there is no difference. I cannot see a difference.
You advise to get plenty of magnesium and potassium from your diet. Is this especially for those that use diuretics, the water, to get the water away? Or does it apply to all patients? And if so, why?
A diet rich in magnesium and potassium does not constitute a diet. Magnesium and potassium have a naturally dehydrating effect. If you resort to a plant-based diet, the intake will automatically increase. This is not only for people who take diuretics. I also recommend this to sportive people or people prone to cramps and digestive problems. Magnesium promotes bowel movements.
Okay. You advise high quality vegetable oil for cooking, but if this kind of oil is heated too much, will it not ruin the oil and the healthy benefits of the oil?
Cold-pressed vegetable oils are not suitable for being heated to high temperatures. Yes, that's true. If this kind of oil is heated too much, the healthy benefits are gone. For this reason, I recommend rapeseed oil for heating and cold-pressed oils for salads, for dressings, or maybe for
We missed the very last word you said. You said rapeseed oil
the
for
last what
cooking.
rapeseed oil for heating. I would recommend,
Yeah,
and cold pressed oils I would use for salads, dressings, and spreads.
yeah. So for
Um,
instance, extra virgin olive oil you use directly on salads and not for cooking.
you also can use rapeseed oil or sunflower oil for salads, but they
Yeah.
are. I would use it for heating, for cooking.
Yes, exactly. Because
Yeah,
they can
yeah,
tolerate higher heat than the other
yeah,
oils. Yeah.
yeah.
I've actually heard that like an olive oil, if you go above 170, 180 degrees, then you start to have problems with the oil.
Yeah,
So,
that's true.
mhm.
That's true. Olive oil I would use especially for salads. You
Yes.
can heat olive oil just a little bit, maybe for vegetables, but not too high temperature.
No. And the most healthy olive oil would then be extra virgin, the
Yeah,
one that's not been processed too
yeah,
much before.
yeah, that's true.
Cold pressed would be the best. Yeah.
Yeah.
As a PH patient, one is advised to reduce the salt intake. But is it possible to get too little salt through your diet? And what are, in that case, the symptoms?
That's a good question. Um, I personally believe that it's impossible to get too little salt in the diet. We get enough salt from foods that are not expected to contain any salt. For example, bread and pastries, meat and curd meats, cheese, and dairy products. The daily intake of 6 grams of table salt per day is recommended, with corresponds to a teaspoon. For example, 3 slices of toast contain 1 gram of table salt, or 100 gram of breakfast bacon contains 4 pounds 3 gram of table salt. 3 leaves of Gouda cheese contain 1 pound 2 gram salt. So it's funny, in 100 gram of tomato ketchup, yeah, you will find 3 pounds 3 gram table salt. So would anyone suspect salt in a sweet ketchup? A daily intake of 6 gram, yeah, I would recommend it.
Yeah.
But if the sodium level is too low, the first symptoms are general complaints such as nausea, vomiting, headaches, and muscle pain or confusion. As a result, there is an increased shift of water into the interior of the cell. So edema can form. It means es können sich Ödeme bilden.
Yeah, you can get edemas.
Yeah, Ödems. Yeah, thank you.
Yeah. Mhm. Yeah. Now, the reason I asked this question was that I had a program on my mobile phone, and
Yeah.
I recorded all the things I was eating, and I was surprised to find that I had almost no salt. But this is because I often eat just a lot of natural food like vegetables, fruits, and beans
Mm-hmm.
that are not processed and so on. And then I noticed that with those kind of products, I don't get much salt. But it's like you say, once you start to eat the toast or something, then it has been added. And the same with sugar. You find sugar almost in all processed
Oh
food.
yeah. Oh
Yeah,
yeah. And also salt. So
yeah,
especially in bread.
yeah. Um, you talk about ways
And
to avoid flatulence. If you have more than 20 wins per day, as you say, does
yeah.
this indicate a problem, or is it okay if you have eaten food known to cause gas?
No, it should no problem if you have eaten foods that cause gas. For some people, flatulence in public or at work is very uncomfortable. It is simply not appropriate, does not correspond to the good rules of contact. But the winds are no problems.
Okay. Yeah.
It's
Oh,
naturally.
yes, yes. But I can see it's a problem for other people. So
Yeah, yeah.
uh, you say that type 3 and 4 are ideal in the Bristol chart that you've shown in your
Yeah.
presentation. If you often have, say, 5 or 6, does this indicate a problem that you need help with?
Oh, yeah, very often. The consistency 5 or 6 can commonly occur in pump areas or people on antibiotic therapy. A supportive diet can be very helpful in relation to the symptoms and improve also the quality of life. With fecal incontinence or diarrhea, it is difficult to pee in public or at work. It's definitely easier to pee at home when you're having diarrhea.
Yeah. But unless you have this 3, 4, it's a clear indication that you do have some problems that you need to take care of.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. But if you don't have 3 or 4, that doesn't means that you are sick. So that also could be normal.
Yeah.
But
Okay.
I would take a view on this tool. Yeah. The
Here,
good news. There
here's
is no such thing as a yeah.
yeah. So Bulgaria, there's no.
That was a real
Yeah.
that was a real good question
Uh,
with the vitamin car. Um, I haven't heard that PH patients should generally follow a low vitamin K diet. If you have a doctor's order in this regard, I would still recommend the current guidelines. It's not necessary to avoid foods rich in vitamin K. That would also contradict the statement to use foods with magnesium and potassium. If someone is taking anticoagulant medication, the daily intake should be constant and checked using the ENR value. Large amounts at once and not again for long periods should be avoided. Personally, recommendation: the medication is adjusted to the ENR value and not vice versa. But please discuss this to the doctor who is treating you. I know there are some different opinions. Yeah, I know this from clients. They came in our rehabilitation center We don't take care because of vitamin K while they are staying here at us. But some came with orders they don't have to eat vitamin K.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think this is maybe one of the big misunderstandings
Yeah.
with this, because if you take blood thinning, we know that the vitamin K makes the blood thicker, but
Yeah.
but if you have a constant diet with not too much changes,
Yeah.
then then you just adjust the blood thinning medication so it
Yeah.
fits your diet. So people should, as you say, not stop eating healthy food just because they take blood thinning. They should just adjust the medication.
Oh yeah. Uh, some people don't know that vitamin K, here we speak from vitamin K1, but there is also vitamin K2, which grows in the intestinal, produced by our own bacteria. And vitamin K you also can find in eggs, in daily products, or also in meat. So
Yeah.
now I recommend to adjust the medication. Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah,
yeah,
and cabbage and things like this has a lot of vitamin K.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Uh, Bulgaria, what should do to the PH patients if they experience abdominal swelling? Which food should they avoid?
Um, Sorry, I don't know what you mean with abdominal swelling. If you mean swelling because of flatulence, you should try to avoid foods and drinks that cause gas, like I said in the presentation.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
they probably mean that you have air in your stomach, and the stomach is growing. Yeah.
In the stomach, does it mean when you rülpsen? What means
Yeah, burp that you,
yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
burp. Uh-huh.
Just let it out.
Okay.
And don't try to swallow too much air when you're eating,
Right.
because during the meal some people talk a lot, and if you swallow and talk, you get enough air in the stomach.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, yeah.
Slovakia, can patients with PH and with heart failure use recommendation for 1 tablespoon of salt to the tea or other meals?
um, I would never give salt to a tea, but yes, patients with heart failure can use the recommendation for 1 tablespoon of salt, however you use it. 1 tablespoon means 6 or 7 gram salt. Yeah,
But it's like you say, you get a lot of salt from a lot of different things you eat,
yeah.
so you don't need to put extra salt on things.
No, no,
Yeah.
no.
Hmm. Finland, is it recommended to take omega-3 even if you take warfarin medication? So warfarin is blood thinning medication.
Mm-hmm. I'm a little bit sorry because warfarin is not commercially available in Austria. I'm not aware of any interaction. Since I'm not a doctor, please discuss this with a doctor. I have no idea.
Yeah. No,
We don't use it in Austria.
yeah. Well, it's been used in Norway, and I know omega-3 also thins the blood, but it does not thin the blood as much
Yeah.
as warfarin does. So if you take
Okay.
omega-3, then just take it at a regular basis, and then you check your
Yeah.
blood thinning INR values at regular basis, and then there should be no problem.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Um, uh, You also could take care of not only omega-3. Interesting is also, but another product, another medication, curcuma. And very interesting is Johanniskraut. But I don't know the English word for Johanniskraut.
Yeah, but I think that is one of the things that could interact with the drug. If this is
Yeah,
yeah, so this
yeah,
Johannes growth, I think one should be a little careful about, but at least check.
yeah, 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 and also big amounts of curcuma.
Yeah, okay.
Curcuma, the Gelbwurz. Mhm. Okay.
Why have to avoid food which cause flatulence? Is it bad for PH patients? I guess we talked about this before.
No, no, flatulence is not bad for patients with PH. It's just uncomfortable for many in public or at work, as I said before.
Gurgly, it seems there is no superfood which can help to meet all the goals. Electrolyte-rich intake means a big amount of salt intake. Magnesium-rich foods are usually oily, which are detrimental to vascular disease and do not support weight loss. Can you help us navigate how to find the golden standard?
Okay. How much time I have?
Not many minutes, I'm afraid.
Electrolyte-rich intake does not mean a big amount of salt intake. And magnesium-rich foods are usually oily, that's true. But please think about the amounts you really eat. These types of fats are vascular protective and only weight promoting in large amounts. There is a big difference between consuming, for example, a bag of potato chips and adding a tablespoon of sunflower seeds or a tablespoon of flax seeds to a cereal. There is no perfect diet. It's the balance that counts. You can use the food pyramid as a guide. Nothing is forbidden, but the amounts recommended for the body are fixed. I don't know if you know them, but here you can see the food pyramid. We use this as a didactic tool here in Austria, or also the healthy food plate. Can you see it?
We can see a little bit, yeah, but
Yeah.
only a small.
This healthy food plate shows the amounts you can or you should eat. The pyramid and the plate, it's not about allowed or forbidden, but about the basic consideration of what our body needs. That means that. Yeah.
Is this something you have described in this brochure that you had made for the Austrian?
Yeah, you can find it. Yeah.
Yeah, because I just would like to tell the listeners that if they go to the booth of Austria, they can actually download an English version of this, and then they can read more about what you're talking about. And this was prepared by Claudia, if I understand correctly.
Yeah, we did. Okay.
Spain, most of us take anticoagulants as part of treatment of pulmonary hypertension. Do you think we should reduce our intake of green vegetables? I guess this refers to the same question as vitamin K.
Yeah, please don't reduce the intake of green vegetables. As I mentioned before, the medication should be adjusted to the value, the ENR value, and not the other way around. However, the daily intake should be approximately constant. I know many doctors have a different opinion, and please discuss this with your doctor. I know that's sometimes a problem.
Another question from Spain. Can probiotics be taken when we have diarrhea?
Oh, yeah. Yes, absolutely. I personally recommend and use, for example, just one product, Omnibiotic 10 in practice. Extensive studies shows that Omnibiotic or other products can regulate the side effects of antibiotic therapy, namely the bacterial imbalance in the intestine, and they can rebuild the intestinal flora. So that works. That works very good.
Another from Spain. Is there any foods or dishes that we shouldn't eat at all?
No, no pants and no one-sided diets. Please eat everything, but with measure and gold. A goal means still.
But I guess it would not be too healthy if you go and eat McDonald's food or fast food every day.
If you don't eat it every day, that's okay. Why not?
Yes.
Why not?
Yeah. Uh-huh. So I guess it's what you do on everyday basis, which is important, and what you do once in a while is not so dangerous.
Yeah, that's true.
Hungary, what is your opinion about drinking coffee? Is it too much if someone drinks
Oh,
3 to 4 per day?
you just ask me. I love coffee. No, that is okay. Coffee is not a liquid thief as long believed. Above all, because of its stimulating effect on the heart and the circulation. Coffee should not be taken as a thirst quencher. I mean, a durstlöscher. But 3 or 4 coffees a day is absolutely okay.
I've never tasted coffee in my life, so I don't know it.
Really?
No.
Okay, okay.
Hungary, are there vegetables, fruit, herbs that should be avoided? For example, about grapefruit, is it often
Mhm.
told that it modifies the effectiveness of heart medicine?
Yeah, grapefruit actually affects the effect of some drug ingredients. If this is the case, the information you will find in the package leaflet or the doctor is treating you will informs you. In the practice of nutritional therapy, this is not really an issue in my clinic since grapefruits are not the preferred fruit in terms of taste. So me either. I don't like grapefruits.
Croatia.
And maybe it's no problem if you eat a half grapefruit. I would be careful if you use fruit juices made out of grapefruit. Yeah.
Yeah. Croatia,
Croatia.
thanks for the wonderful presentation and helpful daily tips. Personally, I like to start the morning with a green shake based on banana and spinach or with chard, but it disrupted my blood values and canceled the effect of my anticoagulant therapy. So the doctor warned me to reduce green vegetables. So maybe patients should emphasize that it is important to find a balance and when it comes to a healthy diet because we are all on anticoagulant therapy. So how do we know when it's too much?
Yeah, as I told before, normally, for example, syndrome, Makumar, or whatever you use, is taken once a day at the same time of the day. So morning, noon, or evening. You will receive a card from the doctor in which the dosage or the doses for each day is prescribed, and the next control is also entered. It is absolutely important to regularly check the intensity of the blood thinning. The ENR value is usually measured because this is the only value that can be compared internationally. In most cases, this value should be between 2 or 3. The higher the value, the thinner the blood. Yeah. So an ENR value 5 means the blood is thin, and the ENR with, for example, 1 means the blood is thick. It usually takes 1 to 2 weeks until the right dosage is found, because everyone needs a different amount of the medication, of the tablet. Furthermore, it's normal that it closes again and again. Fluctuations comes, among other things, through the diet, additional diseases, or interim use of other medications. Some food enhance the effect of vitamin K because they themselves also contain vitamin K. You don't have to avoid these foods, but you should try to keep always a constant consumption of the same. Try to eat it regularly. It only will becomes difficult if you sometimes eat a lot, and then you will not eat it, for example, for weeks. Yeah.
So so what you say is that this person who takes green shakes and so on, if she does this every day, then
Yes.
it's better just to take these
Yeah.
shakes and adjust the medication so it
Yeah.
fits for.
That's what I
for
mean, and that
yeah,
what we do in our clinic.
yeah. Another one from Croatia. I want to ask you about honey. You didn't
Yeah.
mention it. Is it healthy to use as a sweetener on a daily basis in tea, lemonades, and like? In our
Mhm.
country, most people use honey on a daily basis, especially during the winter months.
Uh, yes, I know honey is very famous in Croatia and also here in Austria. So the question is honey generally healthy and a good sweetener? I think yes and no. The amounts of vitamins, minerals, proteins, and amino acids contained in honey are so small that they don't really make a significant contribution to meeting requirements. Anyone who eats a balanced and wholesome diet covers their need for the nutrition's mentions about primarily with fruit, vegetables, grain products, and animal foods. Um, to do the high sugar content, honey is a high calorie source of energy. And honey isn't for everyone. People, for example, with a fructose intolerance should not consume honey. But honey can have an antibacterial and germ inhibiting effect. Um, Think of honey primarily as a high sugar, high energy sweetener. If you eat honey in small amounts from time to time and make sure you eat a balanced, wholesome diet, you don't have to forego the pleasure. Many antioxidants in honey are very sensitive to heat, like we know it from the oil. the amylase. This is an enzyme contained in honey, among other things, is also destroyed at high temperatures. So a guideline, honey should not be heated above 40 degrees so that health promoting ingredients are preserved. So if you ask me personally, honey on a bread or a sweetener in a daily product like yogurt, yes. If you use it in a baked cake or in a hot tea, then I would say not. Use honey like sugar in moderation and with pleasure. That's my opinion.
Slovenia, isn't the light Mediterranean diet best for people with PH?
Good question. A balanced diet is the best diet for PH patients. It does not require a name. That's my opinion.
How much meat do you recommend, or you don't recommend it at all, maybe?
In my opinion, meat provides many important nutrients such as protein, vitamin P1, P6, P12, and also zinc and iron. The current recommendation is 3 portions of meat per week, and a portion of meat corresponds to 1 palm-sized finger-thick piece. So that means 100 to 150 gram raw weight. So like this, and thick like a finger. If you are a meat lover, you should simply make the meat portion just smaller and eat more of the side dish. The meat consumption in Austria is very high. But my opinion is everything that is forbidden becomes interesting. Rather than issue a total ban, I would reduce the amount of portion of the size. Try to eat more side dish.
So not too many Wiener Schnitzels.
No, but that's good. So you know Wiener Schnitzel in Sweden?
Yeah.
Yeah.
In Norway, yes,
Yeah.
of course, but
Yeah.
no, I'm not a big meat eater. I usually eat fish instead, fatty fish.
Yeah.
So for instance, salmon. We have a lot of salmon here. So I
But
think
we don't eat Wiener Schnitzel with sauce. No sauce.
okay,
We eat Wiener Schnitzel with ketchup.
with ketchup. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
My stepson, every food we put on the table, he put ketchup and mayonnaise on. So
Okay.
this is what he likes.
No, I don't like ketchup and mayonnaise. I
No.
hate mayonnaise.
So here's a question from Bosnia-Herzegovina. Would you, as a
Yeah.
dietitian, recommend or forbid some kind of fasting, religious type and so on?
That depends on the individual nutrition situation and what I expect from it. I think it's not necessary. For many people, a normal diet is too simple and it's not spectacular. They are looking for something special, but a balanced diet is basically very, very simple. You don't have to make your own science out of everything. Try to eat as varied as necessary in sufficient quantity and at the right time. Just 1 meal a day, it's difficult to supply the body with all the nutrients in the long term.
Yeah.
That's my opinion. Yeah.
No, I just want to mention my son. He was playing basketball and he played together with some people that because of religious reasons they had this Ramadan and they would not eat or drink anything, during the daytime. And I
Mm-hmm.
could just see when they played basketball how difficult it was for them because they simply did not get all the nutrition they needed during
Mm-hmm.
daytime. So
Yeah.
yeah, it's
Yeah.
difficult. Uh, Another question for Bosnia and Herzegovina: is there any information on gluten-free diet having positive effect
Mhm.
on PH patients?
A good question. I haven't heard from any positive effect if you eat gluten-free as a precaution. But if you have a celiac disease, it's necessary to eat gluten-free. So there is no alternatives, but it makes no sin for a PH patient. I
Mhm.
haven't heard, or I haven't found an interesting study too. For
What
the
are
resources, yeah.
sources of essential minerals and vitamins such as iodine?
Mhm. Natural resources of essential minerals are found in fruits, in vegetables, dairy products, meat, eggs, nuts, and also grain products. Try to eat balanced. Yod or iodine, for example, you can find in table salt. We talked before, sea fish, eggs, also dairy products, bread, sausage, and algae. Algae. Algae is algae. Yeah,
Algae, yes. Mhm.
yeah, yeah. You can find a lot of iodine in algae.
Um, Talking about my stepson, we talk a lot about healthy eating because he's in this age. And
Yeah.
then often I try to tell him, look at your plate. If you see a lot of natural colors, then usually it's a healthy meal you're eating. And if
Uh-huh.
it's very very gray, then you have less vitamins and minerals in it. I
Yeah, that
I don't,
works. It's true.
yeah.
Mhm. Yeah.
Uh, Bosnia Herzegovina again. Which foods are rich in potassium and which can be dangerous in higher doses?
Cool. Potassium is contained in fruits, especially in bananas and apricots, in fruit juices. You can find it in dried fruit, vegetables, potatoes, nuts, cereals, in chocolate. Chocolate have a lot of potassium. um, Potassium levels that are too high can indicate kidney weakness, therapy with blood pressure or dehydrating drugs, or acidification of the blood. Please have this clarified by the doctor. A hyperkalemia caused by an organic disorder, please also discuss with the doctor. With a normal balanced diet, I rule out any excessive intake of potassium because potassium is excreted through the kidneys. So if you are healthy, you will not get a hyperkalemia, means hyperkalemia, too much kalemia.
Uh-huh. A question from Belarus. Many patients believe that the keto diet is optimal for people with PH. What do you think about it?
No, I would never recommend a ketogenic diet to a PH patient. Firstly, the usefulness must be questioned. And secondly, it is very difficult to implement at home. Furthermore, a conscious metabolic derailment is brought out about, and that's dangerous. I would only do a ketogenic diet in a clinical setting, never at home, and not when I'm a PH patient. Makes no sense.
Can you explain what kind of diet this is?
This is This is a very strong diet. So you eat no carbohydrates, you eat a lot of fat, so you eat too less proteins. You will not get enough vitamins and minerals because you can eat any fruits, no fruit juices, no fruits. You just eat a lot of fat. And there are different kind of diets, but mostly the people eat too much of coconut fat, and that's not good for the Herzgefäße. No, this is
For the heart.
not a good fat, not a healthy fat.
No.
No.
What foods help with nausea?
Yeah, a diet for nausea can help, but I would question where the nausea comes from and what are the causes behind it. I would recommend light dishes such as pasta, rice, mashed potatoes, soups, pudding, and fruits. I told in the presentation. You should only eat small portions and avoid heavy meals with a lot of fat and alcohol. But if I feel nauseous to do a gastrointestinal virus, for example, then I personally would not eat anything. I just would try to drink enough. But I'm not hungry when I'm nauseous. So it depends on the situation. Very good works ingwer, ginger. Ginger is a very helpful medication. You can use it, for example, in teas or as herb in foods. Yeah.
And it's very anti-inflammatory type also, ginger.
Yeah.
So in general, when we talk about eating, would you say that maybe smaller meals and maybe more frequent meals than a few bigger meals are better?
Yes. Yes.
And
Um,
and I just
but
want to, yeah, yes,
most people think when they are having too much weight, so those are the actual recommendants, they only have to eat 3 times a day. Yeah. But sometimes people eat too less. They eat 3 times a day and they get too less vitamins, minerals, and especially proteins. So
yeah.
sometimes it can be better to eat 4 or 5 meals a day, but smaller portions.
Yes, exactly. And also, I think for PH patients, we should remember that if you have big meals,
Yeah,
then actually the body needs oxygen to
yeah,
metabolize all the food.
yeah,
So you can actually feel that your pH is getting a little worse after a meal if it is very big.
yeah.
So
It's small portions are easier to work for your stomach and for the intestine. So you have
yeah,
more energy for breathe, for walk, or whatever you do. Yeah.
yeah. Another question from Belarus. People with PH have to take a large number of drugs. How can you protect your stomach, liver, and intestines in this case?
Yeah, your doctor may have given you a stomach protector. We say proton pump inhibitoren to protect the stomach. For example, pantoprazole, omeprazole, or other products. I would say try to eat balanced. An old household remedy is soaked flaxseed or psyllium. The released mucin, means slime, in the fluid form a protective layer over the stomach lining. I also like to recommend Caricol Gastro. This is a concentrated papaya extract with an oat preparation. It's available at the pharmacy in Austria. And also helpful is a warm oat porridge, for example, for breakfast. Yeah.
I get hungry when I hear you talk about all this.
Yeah.
So Spain, we would like to know the benefits that can be had with a nutritionist and pulmonary hypertension. What aspects do you think we can improve in having a balanced diet with our disease? What would it consist of, or what aspects of improvement compared to other diseases?
Wow, yeah, a lot of questions. I would say eating not only serves to cover energy and nutrition requirements. Eating should also be a source of physical and mental well-being. Enjoyment also plays a very central role. So try to eat everything, but in the right amount, and I said before, to the right time. That's my opinion. There is no special diet. I would say you have to eat because you're a PH patient. It always depends from the symptoms. Yeah.
Okay, well, that was the last question, and I see we always spend 1 hour, and it's was really interesting, and this was something that had a lot of interest for our listeners. And your English is great because you speak so
Thank
clearly that
you.
I'm sure everyone understands what you say. So thank you so much, Claudia. It was a big pleasure. And now I just want to
Oh,
tell
thank you. From the problem of, I would like to say
yeah,
thank you for your interest too. Please stay healthy. And I would be happy if you would put one or the other recommendation into practice.
yes.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Okay, I would like to tell everyone that this was the last session we had when it comes to medical things we're discussing and so on. And now there will be one more session, which is entertainment. And we will have someone play and sing for us. So the next session that starts in 3 minutes, please come and join this one. This is the last session of the AFEC. Once again, thank you so much, Claudia.
Thank
Bye
you.
bye.
Bye bye.
Bye bye.